Hello and welcome to World of Tanks with Ungainly Titan. So we're here in Prokhorovka, seeing one of the more interesting battles of World War II. And we're on a heavy tank. In fact, both battles in this video are in Prokhorovka. And they were both recorded during the week. The first one is from the northern spawn on a standard battle with an American T34 premium heavy tank. I don't have a particularly skilled crew on this tank, so you can probably do better with, well, with Brothers in Arms trained and with a few other perks trained up. But question: one of the problems that people have on Prokhorovka is what to do with heavy tanks, and I think one of the more profitable places to go is down to E6 if you're from the northern spawn, or F6 if you've spawned on the southern side. Poking the ridgeline is essentially suicide, even on light tanks or medium tanks. If you have good gun depression and a strong turret, it might be worth going down the zero line, and that is an option for this particular tank. The hill on the east of the village there around FG0 is actually a very important position. If allowed uncontested to the enemy, it gives them spotting opportunities right into the centre of the map. And anybody trying to cross the ridge line or in the position I'm in now are in real trouble, because they'll be spotted well down into the base of the valleys. And they will be vulnerable to artillery. Now there's no artillery in this map, or they'll be extremely vulnerable when they try and pop over the ridge line. The western road is essentially open ground. There's soft cover, but once you're spotted, you're fair game to be shot at. There's a little dip around FEF2, which is a good spot for medium tanks for get hull down and to get plenty of spotting opportunities. Now I'm probably pushing out a little too early here, so it's not a good decision on my part, because we don't actually have any tanks on the hill, but there could already be an enemy light up there, so and I don't have sixth sense, so I could be already spotted. But I do see this Tiger 2, and I get rather tempted to have a shot at his commander's cupola,
Enemies looking right at us.
but I don't manage to pull it off, and he had moved from the location. Now he's not sure what it is, but I take a very solid hit from top of the hill there. Maybe more than one tank shot me, I'm not too sure, but whereas I missed the Tiger, I hit the railroad line. But that removed basically half my health points. So if you do go into this position, you probably need to show more patience than I've shown so far. And actually wait for your tanks to get up onto the hill so that they can actually see something. Now I have another go at tanks pull up, but he's actually better at it than I am. And I narrowly escape a shot from the western side of the map. Could be anyone, probably there's a Rheinmetall Borsig down in the very southwestern corner. Shows up later in the game. So I'm kind of driving around here wondering what to do now. We've started to spot people on the hill, but not for long enough for me to get a line of sight on them. The Tiger 2 is moving to get a line of sight on the people trying to get up onto the hill. Not a great position.
Enemies looking right at us.
He's got an AT-15 with him. I have a very lucky bounce from somewhere, and I'm still being detected. So I back down further. I don't really have a lot of health to play with at this point. So now we get a good shot of that E75, land a reasonably solid hit. And then back off down into the valley. So at this point I make another very dubious, very dodgy decision really. I get a little obsessed with that AMX 5100. They have quite a soft turret, so if he's anywhere near the crest of the ridge and I can get a line of sight at the top of his turret, I can put around through it quite easily. They don't have much in the line of armour, but however that Borsig has just popped up. I kind of assumed, he looks like he was pulling back, so I kind of fired a little bit behind him, but he was probably either stopped moving or he was losing altitude quicker than I had allowed for. So I drive back up, more an attempt to see if I can get a spot on that AMX. But there's nothing happening. I don't want to push out too far forward, and then I spot this Pershing at the end of the railroad. He's out in the open, but I lingered a little too long while I detected, and I think that was probably the Borsig. Landed a very solid shot on me, nearly ended my game, and removed pretty much the rest of my health points. So I signal I'm falling back, and I'm basically getting out of here. I've had enough. I haven't been able to make that position work for me at this particular occasion, but it can work. It is a position that can be made useful. I do think it's not as easy to make it work as the equivalent position on the other side of the ridge. The slope on the other side at F6 is much steeper. So you get up, you can get your shot off onto the tanks on the hill, and you're back down, out of sight, completely hidden by the railroad and the ridgeline a lot quicker than you are on the northern side, where the slope is a lot more gentle, and you're actually relying on those houses and that rock, those two rocks, to actually try and cover you from enemy tanks to the south and to the west of you. So I head back up to the railway line. There's two tanks up here, which are not really contributing. The enemy aren't really cresting the ridgeline, and I don't think these guys are actually doing anything useful. Now initially I was thinking of heading to that position there at the edge of the river, the bend of the river. But we're pushing up onto the hill fairly strongly, so I decided to actually come down towards the village. I'm reasonably certain from the position of our tanks and from the position of the enemy spotted tanks that there's no enemies in the actual village. So I land a very solid hit there in D75, which makes his position a lot more difficult because he's now very vulnerable to the tanks that are in front of him, despite the fact that he's got, pretty good armour and a very good gun. So I continue down towards the village. Our attack that was going on earlier down the western road has collapsed completely, and we're about even on the scores. So the only real bright spot on our side is that we seem to be gaining the hill. Now the only real advantage I've down here is if I stay down this side of the railway, I'm kind of mostly hull down to the people to the west of me. My danger is that there might be people at the bottom of the railway or at the bottom of the hill who might decide to finish me off, because I'm basically one-shot kill for everything on the map. With the Love sticking his head up here, I get a shot off the side of the turret, but with the sloping on the turret and the angle at which he's coming up the hill, that just bounces off. Love is quite, the armour isn't quite that good, but it's very well sloped, unless you can get a solid flat shot at it. It bounces quite a lot of shots. So I attempt to shoot there through the ground. I'm never quite sure whether these shots work or not. Sometimes they seem to, sometimes they don't. hard to know what's part of the terrain walk mesh and what is just image, because you seem to be able to see through them sometimes.
Enemies looking right at us.
So, the tank's been spotted at the edge of the hill, and he just almost put one into me. I managed to pull back in time. The Pershing had been shot at from same location. He's also pulling back. I can't get a shot at him through the buildings here. Not sure what I was trying to signal there. I think I wanted to get the Persian to get out of my way because he blocked my line of sight on the Cairnarvon. Get a nice solid hit on the Cairnarvon, but I don't get to finish him because my reload is too long. Pershing is pushed out and he's got another shot into him. There's another tank down there, but I don't have a line of sight. Detected, so let's take no chances. Pull back, use the railway car as cover. And then try and drive further back into the bushes, come back up in a slightly different direction, slightly different angle. Hopefully I might not get spotted as quick, or I might have some chance of seeing. Whereas at the base of the hill has just been dealt with. And they'll always come up and presents me with his side armour, and I finish him. So now the advantage is swung very solidly on in our direction.
Ready to fire.
So I'm now pushing down to support our guys as they cross the railway line. But I get detected, and I'm very worried about both Borsig and that AMX 5100. Both very accurate, powerful tanks. And something's just flicked into existence, and there we have VK-45B.
Enemy is hit.
And he's facing the people crossing the railroad, so I'm actually able to get very good shots into it, lobbing shots more or less into his side armour and turret side before he starts reacting to the fire coming from my location. He gets off another shot, attempts to move, gets tracked possibly, so that I miss the next one. And I think he has spotted me, or I'm spotted by someone, and he's gunning for me, but he gets shut down before anything can happen. Now I decide to head for the center of the map. Now somebody's come up here, and I reckon just because I can't see them doesn't mean they're still on top of the ridge. Take the chance, fire blind, and get a kill. So forwards and onwards. We know the remaining tanks are over by the west, and we know one of them is a Borsig, which is very stealthy, very low profile, so the AMX 5100 has been spotted.
They've spotted us.
I'll try and keep an eye on him in case he crests the ridge. I also want to get into this low ground as quickly as possible, because if I get spotted in the high ground, I will be shut down very quickly. Now I was detected coming in, and I don't want to poke over the top because there's probably at least two guns pointing at me. Fortunately for me, the Cairnarvon arrives, and he's quite happy to look over the ridge, and he spots the Borsig. So I just poke enough of my turret up over to get a shot on him, set him on fire, and the Cairnarvon deals with the AMX. So game over. It turned out to be a nice game, despite some very dumb decisions by me at the start of the game. I get 3 kills, make up 90,000 credits with ops. Get nearly 3,500 points of damage, 1,200 spotting damage. Get a spotter ribbon. Fire for effect, all sorts of good stuff, and a first class mastery. Which is pretty good, because I've only like 30 or 40 games in this tank. which is pretty much early days. So that's that battle. Now we're on to the next one. We were in IS-6, same battlefield, from the other side.
We've got enemies in the area. Take them down or capture
Obviously
their
not the
base.
same game. I'm not that good that I can actually play 2 games of one tank simultaneously. Now this was earlier in the week, and I'm in an IS-6, and I've decided to do pretty much the same thing that I did with the T34, except now I'm heading for F6 to do it from the other side of the map. So the initial stage, you just drive down, wait for everybody to spread out, see what happens, and hope somebody goes for the hill, because if nobody goes for the hill, then this whole area, and even the middle valley, becomes basically untenable. You will get shot at and sniped, and there's artillery in this map as well, so being a heavy tank under observation and from artillery is no kind of fun at all, because a lot of the time artillery is not a lot to do in this map. A lot of the stuff that does get spotted in this map, usually at the early game especially, is fast moving stuff. So, and it's almost impossible to hit. Fortunately, at least one tank has decided to go for the hill.
Locked on.
So I may have something to do, and somebody has been spotted, but I don't see him just yet.
Ready to
Now,
fire on target.
I don't give him quite enough lead. I was actually expecting him to stop.
Target locked.
The roofs of the buildings interfere as well here, and this time I was expecting him to go forward. I don't know what exactly he did, or anyway, Russian guns at
Ready
this
to fire
range,
on target.
even if they were standing perfectly still, you could easily miss them.
Enemy armor is damaged. Enemies got us in their sights.
Now I do spend too much time actually sitting still here. I was very fortunate that artillery decided not to pay attention, because if I can see them, they almost certainly can see me. They have much better view range,
We lost a track.
and even if they're not specifically looking in this direction, they can spot me and spot well past my position. I take some fire from the tanks on the hill, and take some more this time, but I managed to take out the light tank. So I back up again, because try and get out of spotting. Back up as far as possible. They stop shooting at me basically. And then I push in. Try not to drive over the same ground too many times. Try and kind of stop randomly and turn. Artillery hasn't dropped anything in my position, but that said, sometimes the first thing you know about artillery is when he's taking away all your hit points. I get another good hit on the Panther 88. And then I drop back again. Our artillery certainly seems to be in action.
Gun loaded.
And the enemy seem to have momentarily backed off from the central hill. We have a slight advantage in tank numbers, so I decided it might be time to actually poke the ridgeline. This isn't the best tank for doing it, because I don't have any gun depression really. There's an AT-15 up on the railway line, and there's a charioteer here. Now I completely donked this shot. The charioteer is too close and moving too fast for auto aim to actually have any chance of working. I'd be better off if I gave the tank some lead.
Ready.
Now I haven't detected, but artillery's popped up, and that is a valuable target. So I shut the artillery down.
Enemies looking right at us.
The enemy tanks actually seem to have wiped out our defender on the hill, and have actually cleared the hill, and are actually now visible to
Focus attention here.
the guy at the back of the railway. So I get another good shot into the an AT-15. Our
Ready to fire
We've pushed up the Western Road, however, and we've managed to take that side of the map, so the advantage is definitely with us. That Borsig in the village is potentially very dangerous if he pokes over the railway line and gets a shot into the side of me. He could finish me rather quickly, and I'm really reluctant to go hunting him in the houses. He won't have a lot of trouble penetrating my armour. Not that I'd have much trouble penetrating his, but his gun is the deadlier and the more accurate. Just checking there to see can I get a shot at him, but he's behind the houses. And he's far away enough, well, yeah, it was just the gun barrel, I think. But then I realised that the tanks that took the hill have now crossed the railway line, and they could take out, if they take out the two defenders, they could actually cap before anybody gets back. So I managed to take out the Panther 88, and we've nearly completed the cap to the north, so it is just see will I get a shot on the Centurion. I don't think I'll have reloaded in time, and we have a victory. Another good game. So hopefully that was another profitable game. I had premium at that time. There was some free premium given out during the week. So 2,000 points, fire for effects, number 4. So thank you folks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please press like if you liked the video, and subscribe to the channel if you like the channel. And I hope to see you all soon. Thank you very much.